Not all lessons in life come from books. Some are learned in the most unexpected places, like a small cafe on a rainy afternoon. Jordan had worked at Riverside Cafe for 3 years. He wasn't the manager, nor was he the highest paid employee. He was just a waiter, but to him, that job meant something. Every plate he carried, every coffee he served, every smile he offered it mattered, because Jordan believed that the way you do anything is the way you do everything. His coworker Kevin didn't see it that way. "Man, why do you try so hard?" he'd always say. "It's just a job." Jordan would just smile. "Maybe, but that doesn't mean I can't do it well." One cold afternoon, as the rain poured outside, the cafe door creaked open. An elderly man stepped inside, his coat soaked through. He moved slowly, water dripping from his sleeves, shivering from the cold. Jordan noticed immediately. Without a second thought, he grabbed a clean towel and rushed over. "Rough weather out there, huh?" he said, offering the towel with a friendly smile. The old man blinked in surprise. He hadn't expected kindness. "Thank you, son," he said, drying his hands. Jordan wasn't done. A moment later, he returned with a steaming cup of tea. "This is for you. Nothing warms you up like a good cup of tea, right?" The man chuckled, shaking his head. "People don't usually go out of their way like this." Jordan just smiled. "The little things matter." The old man nodded, his eyes thoughtful as he took a sip. From his quiet corner, he watched Jordan work, and he saw something others overlooked. Later that day in the back room, Kevin laughed as he scrolled through his phone. "Man, you make me tiret just watching you. Why put in so much effort when you don't have to?" Jordan wiped his hands on a towel and shrugged. "Because one day, effort will be the difference between where I am and where I want to be." Kevin rolled his eyes. "Yeah, well, I'll stick to doing the bare minimum." That evening, the cafe had one of those customers, the kind who snapped his fingers, demanded service, and acted like the world owed him something. Kevin took one look and muttered, "Not my problem." He disappeared into the kitchen. But Jordan? He walked over with the same patience he always had. "I'm sorry for the wait, sir. Let me check on that for you." The businessman barely looked up, too busy on his phone. Finally, about time someone did their job. The businessman said, "Most people would have lost their temper." But Jordan just nodded. "I'll make sure your order is perfect." And he did. Across the cafe, the old man, Mr. Brian, watched everything, and he smiled. That night, as the cafe closed, Jordan stayed late to wipe down the tables. Outside, the rain was still falling. Mr. Brian, who is now the last customer, stood up and slipped his wallet into his coat, but the wallet fell to the floor and he didn't notice as he walked out. Jordan saw it immediately. Without hesitation, he grabbed it and rushed outside. "Sir, your wallet." Mr. Brian turned, surprised. He hadn't even realized it was gone. Taking the wallet, he smiled. "Not everyone would have done that." Jordan shrugged. "The little things matter." The old man chuckled. Yes, they do." A week later, Jordan was called into the manager's office. His heart pounded. Had he done something wrong? But when he stepped inside, he froze. Sitting at the desk wasn't his manager, it was Mr. Brian. And this time, he wasn't just an old man in a raincoat. He was wearing a sharp suit, his presence commanding. "Jordan," Mr. Brian began, "I own a restaurant chain. I've been watching how you work. The way you treat people, your attention to detail. You remind me of how I started." Jordan spriet kaukt. "Wait, you own?" Mr. Brian nodded. "And I need a manager for my newest restaurant. Someone who cares about the little things." Jordan felt his whole world shift. "Me? A manager?" The old man smiled. "Hard work and kindness never go unnoticed, son." 1 week later, Jordan stepped into his new restaurant, dressed in a crisp manager's uniform. The feeling was surreal. He had spent years working hard, thinking no one noticed, but someone had. Kevin visited that day, still wearing his cafe uniform. "Man, you got lucky." Jordan smiled. "It wasn't luck, Kevin. It was the extra mile." As he walked through the restaurant, greeting his employees, he realized something. All those little moments, the extra effort, the patience, the kindness, they hadn't been wasted. They had been seen. They had mattered. Because in the end, the extra mile is never crowded. Hard work and kindness don't always pay off immediately, but the right people notice. And when they do, it changes everything.